This Todd-versation is brought to you in part by Calavo Growers, the family of fresh.
Hey, everybody. How the hell are you today? We doing good? I hope we're doing good. We need to be doing good. Everybody needs to find a way today to do good. And we got a do good guy coming on here to hang out with me today. I have been talking to him saying, I got to get him up here, and he hems and haws. And I like, come on, baby, you're so Hollywood. This is your format. This is your format. So let's have a fun conversation with my friend, compadre down the street, kind of via Chicago, but down the street nonetheless. Let's give it up for the Vice President of Sales and Customer Management at Bolthouse Farms, Kevin K-Fix in the house.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. And just happy to be here, be on the show.
I appreciate it. I wasn't recording. I was just practicing.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Dude, I'm really thrilled you're here. Carrots are obviously a big part of my backstory, and you and I have become great friends over the years and enjoy each other's company. I just fun to hang out with you and just talk shop all the time and get that perspective that you bring to the world, which is super fun. And I'm going to enjoy talking about life today and what's going on, over at Bolthouse, what you guys are doing, some of the things you're up to, and who knows where the hell we drift off to. Hopefully we get off the rails and, we get kicked off the platform or something positive like that. Who knows?
We'll do our best.
Hell yes, we will. Hell yes, we will. But before we get going on all that, if you wouldn't mind, just tell everybody a little bit who you are, your backstory, your journey. I'd read your bio, but there's too many big words, and I just anything after 5 letters, I'm out.
Oh, totally. Yeah, me, and I'm synonymous with big words, right? No, so my background, I graduated with a marketing degree at Iowa State University, and somehow I found my way.
What's that? That's the Iowa State. What is that? That's not the Jayhawk. What's Iowa State?
That's the Cyclones.
The Cyclones.
You got it.
Yeah. That's I'm surprised the Cyclones haven't got canceled out because it's so negative. What good comes from a cyclone?
Not anything. It's
exactly.
Just,
I'm sorry.
All it does, hopefully we got that name. We got that nickname actually from beating Northwestern in a football game. That was the headline back in the 20s or something like that, in the Chicago Tribune. So that's where the nickname came from. And then we showed our true Cyclone amazing football team last weekend, beating Iowa. So
there you go. I love it. I love it. All right, I'll shut up. You keep going.
Absolutely. So look, I somehow stumbled my way into the produce business. I was doing logistics, running a trucking company, refrigerated trucking company, and bringing meat out to the West Coast and hauling produce back to the Midwest. And really realized that there's a lot more money hauling produce than there are hauling other items out there. And just kind of randomly got a call back in 2006 from a headhunter that was saying, Bolthouse Farms is opening a new Chicago office. And so I had the opportunity to end up going to work for Bolthouse back in 2006 here in the Chicago area. We have a huge Ford distribution center here. We bring everything in on big rail cars and Ford distribute from here. Went to Bolthouse from 2006 to 2012 and ended up going out west to Colorado and ended up going to Grant Farms, which is no longer around, but you know it well. You know the organic game very, very well. And that was really my first foray into the, really just getting into the
grower shipper side.
Yeah, really getting into the grower shipper side, doing everything in Chicago, just, basically waiting for rail cars and managing inventory and stuff like that. To be able to get, the boots on the ground in the dirt was pretty amazing.
So if you're waiting for rail cars, you're kind of like a hobo. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay, I'm just asking. I'm asking. I don't know. I'm asking. Melina told me to ask that question, so I'll go with it.
That's right. But eventually went back to Bolthouse. I've actually worked for Bolthouse 3 times. This is my 3rd tour of duty with the company. And the reason why I keep coming back is because of the people. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, Jeff's got a good group going. I mean, it's an interesting, it's a cool place. There's, the people I know that I've come across and deal with and talk to and stuff seem to be pretty genuine, pretty true to what they're doing. And you guys are on a pretty big mission. So that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, I want to go back. I got to talk a little bit about Andy Grant, because if anybody goes back in the organic produce business, they know Grant Family Farms and Andy's story. And and he's kind of an organic pioneer back in the day. But going there like you did, and then now looking at your career where you're at, right? It's a little bit of difference between the sales volume between Grand Family Farms and Bolthouse on a daily basis. But talk a little bit about what you learned from that experience there, right? And maybe some of those lessons that you think about back then that you apply to what you're kind of doing today.
Sure. Well, it was a very insane experience, I would say, is the only way to put it. And there's not many farms like that around anymore. In fact, there really aren't any at all. So to go to a company like that, and have all the the history that, Andy was really a trailblazer. He really was a great marketer, came up with a lot of great ideas. And it was crazy for me to show up on that farm and just run the sales team and run the harvest crews. I'll never forget when Andy and I went to the PMA the year that I was working for him. We went up to your booth and we were talking to you, and you were complaining about some asshole that was killing the cilantro market, the organic cilantro market. But it was me. I was the guy doing it.
Yeah, I was trying to give you an out. I knew who the hell you were.
Yeah, exactly. You had no idea who I was. No one really did, right? I mean, I was just some random guy from Chicago that was helping sell carrots and move product around the country. But no, it was just amazing. I mean, just all the different commodities that we grew. I mean, I'll never forget sitting there looking at some of the stuff and just being like, God, I've never eaten this before in my life. Right? These are items that I've never come across. I've never seen before. My idea as a kid of produce was green beans in a can and corn in a can, right? That's the Midwest. That's kind of how it works in the Midwest. That's kind of how you're raised most of the time, right? Or at least in the 80s, that's how it worked. So, it was an unbelievable experience. Learned so much from it, really. Like learned so much from Andy about vegetables, obviously, and then really the organic way of growing is the most incredible thing, really.
It really was. Yeah, he did some cool stuff.
Yes, absolutely. The crop rotations and everything. It's just, just unbelievable experience.
Yeah, well, he, like I said, he did a lot of different commodities, but he had a unique marketplace, right? Being in Colorado the way he was, summer really wasn't everybody's summer, but boy, he used to have some problems too when the hail would come in, and he'd have those thunderstorms off the range and this and that. But what a character! So I mean, I could see what a great experience that had to be, just to kind of fill your tank with information and knowledge on things to do and probably things not to do. But but I think if anything with Andy, you probably learned how to treat people a little bit. I mean, I think you probably learned a little bit from that personality of his. There's got no doubt.
Yeah.
So talk to me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, just his personality is something. It's anyone that knows him really well knows that he's just a character, right? Like so many crazy ideas. He's never afraid to try something new. And again, it was the best aspect of that role and of that job is, again, seeing the work that goes into it, right? To see the people out there, to have 200 plus people out in the field every day picking 60 different commodities, and the amount of effort that it takes to do that, and to and also the aspects of cooling the product and caring for it in that manner, and the packing shed and the pride that goes into it. It was really eye-opening for me, right? Because I hadn't spent much time in California, and I'd never really seen it in person. So going out there, being in the truck with him and driving out there into the fields was the most rewarding part of it, to just see the energy from the groups of people out there that were putting food on our table for everybody. It really gives you a lot of perspective.
Yeah, no doubt. That's probably what that applied life lesson that you probably got out of it. There's no two ways about it. If you get around it, it's a big lift that people do. So, now your role at Bolthouse being, VP of sales and then also of customer management. And it intrigued me when I was kind of getting into this. It's like, well, explain what a customer management role is as vice president. I mean, what's it mean?
Yeah. So, my role is basically to make sure that we take care of all the orders, right? So the customer service aspect of the business, processing all the orders, working with the operations team, working with the farm team, working with the production teams, and then also just the different regional facilities that we have. It's really my group is responsible for basically managing those customers and managing their orders and making sure they get what they want when they want it. So outside of of that responsibility, which is a pretty big one. That's the majority of what I do every day.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I also I have a couple salespeople that report to me, and we manage all of the food service, the wholesale, more of the smaller retailers and stuff like that, where we manage all that business. And the food service thing is a huge thing for us. We do a ton of food service volume at Bolthouse, with obviously carrots are a perfect item for the food service community.
Thanks for joining the Todd-versation. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Nelia Alamo at Calavo. Thanks for listening to Todd-versations. At Calavo, we are the family of fresh. For almost 100 years, our passion has been bringing delicious and nutritious food to your table. From tasty, wholesome produce to our freshly prepared foods, Calavo is a global leader in the finest quality produce and a pioneer of healthy, fresh-cut fruits, vegetables, and prepared foods. Whether it's our farm-fresh avocados, tomatoes, Hawaiian papayas, or chef-inspired solutions including fresh-cut fruits, veggies, guacamole, and much more, Calavo takes pride in delivering our fabulously fresh products every day. It's our promise from our foodie family to yours. Check us out at calavo.com and learn why we are excited about your fresh possibilities ahead.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, is it true now when you came back this time, you took this role of VP of sales, customer management, is it true that people can't make eye contact with you anymore?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a scary individual. I'm hard to approach, right? Yeah, no, not
I was
at all.
waiting for that. I had that teed up all day going, I'm going to ask that question. I can't wait to see his face. People, Bolthouse obviously is a huge name. I mean, it's a global brand. You got a lot going on. Not probably, I'm sure there's people that do know, people that probably don't know that it was a family farm from Michigan that was growing carrots and other stuff. And lo and behold, here you are. You've moved to California and you're a massive landholder. You guys are, you're a big behemoth out there. And you have multiplicities of business underneath your umbrella. There's lots you're doing. You got juice, you got dressings, you got, food that you're different food items, things you're working about, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I thought we'd talk about each one of them just a touch, and we'll get into carrots last, that being the big behemoth there. But I just want to talk a little bit about the complexities of your business model, right? So people get that full 360, what you're all about. So let's talk a little bit first about the beverage business. And it's certainly a very complex business, and it does have its challenges for sure. So what is the beverage business for you guys a little bit? And then we'll talk about your new baby.
That's right. Beverage business is, obviously a huge portion of our sales. So, this was something that we've been rebuilding since, we were reacquired and back in 2019. This is an area that's where the focus has been, right? We've got to rebuild the beverage business, get it back to where it was at. And we've done that. In fact, we've exceeded where we were previously in the past. So it's incredible. I mean, really what's been going on in the beverage category. We've been seeing double-digit growth in beverage and dressing for the last several years. So for the last 3+ years, we're seeing huge growth up, and it's been incredible to see it get rebuilt. We have a pretty unique beverage business. We are very, very much differentiated from some of the other beverage companies that are out there, right? We have our own merchandising team that's out there in the fields. So there's people scattered all over across the United States that are going out at store level every day, working with produce managers and really selling the Bolthouse brand, right? They also obviously don't just focus on beverage. They're looking at the dressing category, and then also they're out there to help out with carrot as well. So, that having those people, those boots on the ground, and that team that we have out there is they're amazing. We've really grabbed a lot of market share here over the last couple of years. We have, like I said, rebuilt the business from where it was at previously. And, I would say with our retail partners, we're basically, with a lot of them, we're over 50% of their total growth in their beverage.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Since COVID hit, it's, obviously things have been, things have changed and you're seeing. But what you're really seeing, though, in the beverage business and in the dressing business, really, is that there's people going back to the things that the strawberry banana, the berry boost, the green goodness, these things that have always been staples. These are some of the largest items in our portfolio. We're seeing a lot of people go back to these items, and they want things that are healthy for them, right? So
no doubt.
The beverage business and dressing business. I mean, our dressing business is a better for you kind of dressing, right? We have the lowest calorie content, the lowest fat content, and it's again, it's really the only thing that's out there where we don't sell any of that really unhealthy dressing. We just sell this specific type. So,
and it's good.
50 calories or less, right? So, it definitely, there are complexities to it, but and mostly it's been obviously on the packaging side of the business, right? Like just being able to get all the resin you need to be able to make your bottles and all those different things.
Oh, no shit.
There's certainly been some issues there, but overall, we've managed to do extremely well. I mean, we're a very focused group. We've got we took the COVID thing pretty seriously and knew what we needed to do as far as securing ingredients and whatnot well in advance to make sure that there were no interruptions. So no, it's exciting. We've got some really cool stuff that's going to be coming on the horizon at IFPA. That's coming up here in the future. We got 7 different items that are going to be on display there, and it's going to kind of take us down some new paths. So that's all, again, really exciting stuff on the horizon. Whether it's energy related items or like nut butter, plant protein type of things,
cool.
That's kind of what's on the horizon. So really,
I love it. That's super exciting. Well, I remember listening to a sports nutritionist talk and about recovery and stuff, and he actually called out your strawberry banana drink as one of the best post-recovery drinks, in his opinion, that was on the market. He had nothing to do with you guys either. He made it very clear. Like, I'm not endorsed, but I'm just saying, he goes, this is one of the better. If you're working out, you're doing your thing, you need to consider drinking these after for as a post-workout. I thought it was like, wow, that was a pretty good endorsement from a guy that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
We got to talk about the new baby, the new juice baby though that you guys got. You guys have a new member of the family, Evolution Juice, which originated as a Starbucks brand that you guys are now. That's your brand. You're off to the races with that. So can you talk a little bit about that? And that's got to be exciting.
It's super exciting. I mean, really, to have a brand like Evolution, and this is what we're trying to build, right? We're trying to build a portfolio of brands, right? We're not looking to take Evolution and turn it into Bolthouse. It's Evolution. It stands on its own, and to be able to bring that, the Bolthouse juices, and to be able to bring Evolution to our retail partners, I mean, it's the greatest. To have an item like that. To have a brand that's growing as rapidly as Evolution has been, it just fits into our portfolio so perfectly. It's just, it's great. It's a good.
Well, it made sense. It made sense to me when I saw what it was and why, where Starbucks kind of going, where everything up, where you're going, where they're going. I mean, it seemed like a pretty decent marriage. And let's be honest, you got a juice brand that's in, what does Starbucks have in the United States? 22,000 locations.
Right.
So, people know what that is. That's, there's a reason why it's in their stores, because it sells. So that's going to be a really interesting platform for you guys. That's going to be neat to see.
No doubt. We're definitely, we closed on that in August 1st. So it's only been a month and a half.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of excitement around it, and we're definitely, pretty excited to see where this thing's going.
Oh, I think it's going to be super cool. I just think it's a good match, in my opinion. It really is. Well, let's talk about the big bad boy hanging out behind me here on the screen. Sure. Let's talk about the big orange monster that are carrots, which is an absolutely unbelievable business. Those that don't know the carrot business, get on YouTube, get a couple videos under your belt, check it out. It is wild what you and Grimoy both got to give props equally to what you guys have created as far as an industry. Right. Literally, you guys have built an industry on this commodity. It's just fascinating to me. So, and I think people, a lot of times when it comes to carrots, it's like, oh, carrots, ho hum, it's just like they buy them, but they don't really realize it. And we were talking about this, and you shared this with me, and it's fascinating. Let's talk a little bit about how many carrots consumers purchase and consume each year, because I think people will be surprised how much it is.
Yeah. So the number in 2021 was about 8.5 pounds.
Per person in America.
Per person in America consumes carrots,
that's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, I don't know why that's crazy to me. I've never seen it from that number. I think when he told me that, it made me pop in my head. I always say this quote about, food waste numbers, that food waste in the United States is the same equal of every American throwing away 650 small to medium sized apples. Right.
Right.
And when you think about that's a lot of carrots, 8.5 pounds. That's a big old stack of carrots that every American eats. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
it
pretty
is.
cool.
And I think the cool thing about carrots, and what we do at Bolthouse, the innovation that we've had over the years, we utilize every part of that carrot, right? You talk about
Right.
food waste. This is a great conversation to have as well, because what we do with the carrot is, you've got the cello carrot, right? That's your unpeeled carrot. The top is chopped off. It's in the bag behind you. That's just, your normal standard carrot. But the baby peeled, that innovation and where that's gone, you've got, multiple different types of cuts come out of those carrots, right? You've got your baby peeled carrot, you've got your sweet, your petite. And then after that, you've got, matchsticks and shred and carrot chips and carrot sticks, and then
Coins and bias cut and
exactly.
crinkle cut. And it's
and
crazy.
And then you start talking about, well, we've got the peel of the carrot, right? What do we do with that? Well, some guys at Bolthouse decided that they were going to be innovative and figure out a way to turn that into a fiber. So now you've got a product that gets dehydrated and then turned into a fiber powder that mostly we sell it to like different, tomato ketchup based companies. It's a thickening agent. So
wow.
You think about it, and there's just no waste really in carrot land. It's incredible. The tops are left out in the field, helps with the soil, and really every every portion of the carrot is utilized and used. So
I would think that the carrot industry, in some ways, were really the first to embrace, and it wasn't even called that at the time. This really is upcycling. How do we use everything? How do we make this continue to go through? And it's fascinating to walk through a facility like yours and see all the different things that are happening at one time, because it's just not a carrot. I mean, to your point, it's every shape, size, cut, thickness, crinkle. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. Talk a little bit, because I love having conversations around increasing consumption, right? I say it all the time. You want to help reduce food waste? Hey, folks from Fruits and Veg, let's work on increasing consumption. So let's talk a little bit about how consumption's changed for carrots, or stayed the same, or kind of whatever that playing field is over the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's definitely with COVID, it was crazy. You saw everyone flocking to the grocery stores, right, and purchasing a lot of different produce items, and they were doing a lot more cooking at home. So really during COVID, like the carrot business was very healthy, very, very strong, and it was also very much a roller coaster, though. There's just you'd have a month where it was just out of control. There would be a new, strand of whatever, whether it was Delta or something else, that would spike, and then all of a sudden you just see huge consumption, and then it would drop off and start to decline, and then you're like, well, what's going on here, right? Like, what's next? So definitely the carrot world, there was no shortage of highs and lows. There was a lot of up and down. But overall, the category was still really, really strong. Your food service business was more or less kind of non-existent. People were not going out to restaurants, but the retail thing was absolutely booming. Right now, I would say, really we're in a healthy place, right? Carrot business is generally, from year to year, and most regular years, it's flat to up a percent or two, or sometimes it's down 1%. But overall, it's just an extremely healthy category. It's always, it's not growing out of control like the way it was in the 90s when the baby peeled was introduced. But it's still just, look, like I said, 8.5 pounds worth of carrots are consumed by every person in the United States. So it's a big number.
Yeah, there's no two. Yeah, no,
a lot of carrots.
But I love these conversations about, driving consumer change when it comes to consumption. And one of the things that I've talked about and feel really strongly about is that the pandemic gave us this really great opportunity, because people, to your point, were cooking at home, right? And they were trying recipes. And they're like, hey, I normally I only cook 2 days, 3 days a week. Now I got to cook 7. And what am I got to learn to make something. So you saw that increase, the fruit and veg category saw that rise. And then one of the things that concerns me that I keep trying to bring up with folks is that, as the economy continues to soften and not be, and to be weak and not be a strong one, people are making choices, right? And I'm real concerned that the steps forward we took, that, really the opportunities that the pandemic and that light gave us, we're going to lose that because we're not driving home that message of like, yes, it's important. We want you to eat a Bolthouse carrot, but the carrot part of the conversation is really what we need to keep talking about. The importance of what they bring to the table, the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, the opportunities, the things you can cook with. Those things become so incredibly important. And I hope we don't lose sight of that. So I say that diatribe from my soapbox to ask you this question. And, what conversations are you guys having internally about consumption and how to drive it forward? I mean, obviously innovation is part of it, but what are you thinking about? Like, how are we touching people? Are we doing things differently? Are we reflecting back, or some of those thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean,
Well, I try not to have shitty questions. Come on, you act like you're fucking surprised.
Well, like you said, I mean, I think innovation's a big one, right? To get people to eat healthier, you've got to innovate. You've got to bring new things to the market. We certainly tried to do that. We have launched different things over the last couple of years. Maybe not haven't always been maybe at the right time, right? So we've tried to do carrot hot dogs, and that's an item that we've had incredible success with at retail, right?
Yeah.
So it's an innovative idea. It's a great item for anybody that has gone vegetarian at this point in their life, and they miss those hot dogs. These are the cool things that we continue to innovate on and bring to market. Now we've certainly hit a little bit of we've hit the pause button at this point on that particular item, but we want to bring that back to the market and figure out what's the right channel for this, right? Where do we put this item? How do we get excitement around carrots, right?
Right.
And I think it's a tricky thing to do during the pandemic is when we started doing it. And it's somewhat, you've got a lot of people that are probably purchasing more via delivery, right, than they are actually physically going into the store. So I think
makes it hard to educate.
Yeah, it certainly is hard to educate, but that's Bolthouse. That's ingenuity. That's what we do, right? Like we always bring some sort of ingenuity. And that's really kind of like what we're all about, right? Ingenuity grows good. That's kind of our slogan, the thing that we hang our hats on. We talk a lot about it. Just trying to find a more, a different way to bring carrots to the market and get customers interested in those products.
It's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge. And I think it's super important that you guys are having these internal conversations like you're doing. And I think what's really great is you use the word innovation, right? And anytime that there's any kind of an economic problem, history says some of your best innovations come at this point.
Sure.
Right. So to me, it's like, yeah, we're dealing with this. We're all dealing with it. It's craziness, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, it's not going to last forever. Hopefully. I don't think that it will. But what's happening behind the scenes right now is really, I think, going to be some exciting stuff. And so when I hear you guys talking about innovation in the conversation around looking at consumption, I commend you guys for that, because I think that to me is a super, super appropriate approach to win the day and to continue to win consumers.
Yeah, for sure. And look, the items that are selling extremely well at retail, and all of our retail partners are seeing their growth, is in the value added side of the business, right? So the petites, the matchsticks, the carrot sticks. I mean, we sell more carrot sticks now than we've ever sold at any point in time. And that's, that's not like anyone in the past would probably just buy a cello carrot, peel it at home, and then cut a stick out of it, right? But to be able to bring the convenience, right? The snacking, that's where everything's going, right? We try and bring a more convenient way so that you don't have to do all that work yourself, right? And hopefully that will lead to more consumption, and it'll lead to people, cooking more at home, right? Because they want the convenience. They want a healthy snack. And obviously carrots are super sweet. They taste great. You can dip them in anything, and it's just really a natural item to see more consumption around the snacking aspect too.
I love it. No, I love it. All right, so here's a question: true Chicago dog, onions, pepper, whole nine yards. True Chicago dog,
right?
Carrot dog, pick.
Clearly I would have to take.
Don't even ask.
I have to take the Chicago dog, but honestly, like I do love the carrot hot dog. Like
they're not. I've tried it. They're not bad. They're pretty. It's like you don't expect what it's going to be.
You don't. You absolutely don't. Yeah. And it's that maybe the texture isn't exactly the same, but the flavor is really good, and it's there. And it's for my wife is pescatarian, so for her to have the option to have something that tastes like a hot dog, she's all for it. She's definitely the target market for that.
I love it. No, it's a worthy product, and again, it's innovation. It's new. It's what can we do differently? And I can again commend you guys for taking on these challenges and seeing them through. Right? Let's go. Let's give it a shot. I think it's wonderful. Again, that innovation, I think, is such an important part when we talk about consumption. We've talked a little bit about the last couple of years in the pandemic. I mean, big, broad, 35,000-foot question. How do you think the industry's changed pre and now? I'm going to say post-pandemic, since we're kind of out of the, I don't know, not to say out of the woods. I don't even know where we are out of what with this whole thing, but it's certainly better than it was. How about that?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. And, for us, I guess on the beverage and the dressing side of the business, what we're seeing is people go more towards the value, right? So the 52-ounce beverages, we launched a family style dressing. So it's a larger, size bottle, more ounces. And that's really where we're seeing the market go. We're seeing people go geared towards more towards those larger servings and to keep that cost per serving down and still to be able to enjoy. Look, the great thing about carrots is that it's probably one of the cheapest thing per pound that's out there in the produce market.
Yeah. It's a tough business.
How do you get 2 pounds of carrots for a little over $2, right? Like it's pretty rare to get that much produce for that price. So
the only thing cheaper is bananas.
Right. Exactly.
3 pounds for $1.79. Right.
Exactly. So no, definitely obviously the commodity that we grow and we sell of being carrots, that this is certainly an item that is very cost efficient, and people can go out and purchase it every single week, week after week, and get a healthy snack and actually use it for an ingredient for food as well.
Thanks for joining the Todd-versation. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Nelia Alamo at Calavo. Thanks for listening to Todd-versations. At Calavo, we are the family of fresh. For almost 100 years, our passion has been bringing delicious and nutritious food to your table. From tasty, wholesome produce to our freshly prepared foods, Calavo is a global leader in the finest quality produce and a pioneer of healthy, fresh-cut fruits, vegetables, and prepared foods. Whether it's our farm-fresh avocados, tomatoes, Hawaiian papayas, or chef-inspired solutions including fresh-cut fruits, veggies, guacamole, and much more, Calavo takes pride in delivering our fabulously fresh products every day. It's our promise from our foodie family to yours. Check us out at calavo.com and learn why we are excited about your fresh possibilities ahead.
So one of the cool things that I think about with you guys, and something that I pay attention to with a lot of companies, is what they do to give back, what they do to drive culture, what they do to drive, purpose back into their business. And there's, a lot of ways of doing that. But I think that is such a great part of looking at a business, because, if the culture's tight and right, and the purpose is tight and right, and, you're doing things for the right reasons and all that, it makes it easier to look at a brand. It makes it, I think brands become more inviting. You line up with them more on a morals, values level. You kind of know where they, where they stand on issues, where they stand on things. And I think that's so important today. And, one of the things that you guys do that I've not seen before, maybe other people do it and I haven't found it yet, but you go as far as having, really an outreach program on your website for whether it be individuals, organizations like, charities, first responders, which, okay, loving that. That's 2 asterisks, and shelters and stuff. And they literally can just get online and make donation requests, right, from you guys to try to say, hey, we've got a fundraiser. We've got this. We've got, we're hurting because of flooding, whatever the case may be. And, it's so easy for people to ask for help when they need it. And it's really powerful to me to actually do that. And so my question comes around to, like, what's that say, and from your perspective, because you've been there a while, you've seen this, what's it say about Bolthouse and the culture and the purpose of the company and that giving back aspect? Because that's a big thing, man. It really is. That touches a lot of people. It really does.
It really does. I mean, we're definitely the people portion of Bolthouse is what is the magic, right? And that's what I touched on it earlier. Like, that's why I've come back to this organization. on a couple of occasions, mainly because of the people and just, the meaning behind the name Bolthouse Farms and what we're willing to do in the community, right? What we do with we've got partnerships in different parts of the country. In Washington, it's a lot of it is centered around where we're typically growing and processing, right? Like that's where a lot of the big things happen. For example, like in Chicago, we've done a ton of things with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, right? We've got recognized by them this past July. We donate a ton of food to them. And it's, and there's all kinds of other great philanthropic things that we're doing across the country. In California, we're doing it. We were doing things for first responders during COVID, providing them with beverages, bringing things over to Bakersfield Hospital. It's really it's not just about, I think the purpose, right, and just what the culture is like at Bolthouse. It's like we got to take care of the land as well, right? We've got to do a better job of taking care of the land. We've got to do a better job of taking care of our people. We spent $50 million during COVID just to keep our employees safe, and that's the thing. Like that's what is so great about Bolthouse. I mean, we were one of the first ones to just sort of stop, assess everything, figure out what we were going to do moving forward during COVID to make sure that our employees were safe. And there were, a lot of tough decisions that had to be made along those lines that,
For sure.
It's not easy to spend all that money, but it's, none of us would be able to really sleep at night if we didn't do it. And then, just again, with the community, the different outreach and having that platform for people to come in and make those requests, I think it just, it really shows you how much, the company's built around that purpose. And, one of our big values is showing the love, right? So you got to show the love for the land. You got to show the love for the people. You need to show the love for the community as well. And those are really important things to Bolthouse Farms.
Yeah, I love that. Show the love, man. That's fantastic. I mean, that's really powerful. But I think, too, what's really cool is that because of what you do, right? Because of that purpose driven in the culture and the way the culture is, that touches everybody from, Jeff on down to, guys in the field, guys in the shed. I mean, it's everybody throughout the entire organization have an opportunity to be united. Not just because they work there, right? Not because they all have, you got t-shirts or tent, whatever it might be, but you're united in something greater than that. And it's a way for everybody to connect. And I commend you guys. It's powerful. It means something. You stand out for it, in my opinion. And I just commend you guys for, taking that on and embracing people the way you do, and as open as you are with that embracement.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. So tell me, what's next for you guys? What's going on? What's exciting? I mean, you said you got new items coming out in a couple of weeks at IFPA, which is super cool. You're going to be there, I assume.
Oh, absolutely.
After this broadcast, you're just going to be signing 8x10 autographs, headshots?
Not likely, but
that's her. Why?
I'll take those requests.
Yeah. Well, dude, if we're going to take requests, let's charge $8 for them. What the hell?
There you go. No, I think that, obviously the IFPA is going to be a great show. It's been a long time coming. We've had the last couple of years off, and it's just going to be great. A lot of these different shows across the country that we've been going to for the last year, it's just been, pretty much record turnouts, right? For Bolthouse though, like I kind of mentioned, I mean, yes, innovation is really important to us. I think it's really what differentiates us and makes our brand really strong is the ability to kind of bring things to market and do it really well. So clearly innovation is going to be part of it. We are working on a lot of other things. So, California is obviously not the easiest place in America to grow a carrot in, right? Like we've got tons of pressure right now with weather. We've got tons of pressure with water issues and all these different things across the state, and we're pretty focused on trying to figure out how do we heal the ground. I think that's one thing that we need to talk a lot about. And I think it needs to be more broadly talked about is we're doing a couple of tests right now, 325 acres over in Cuyama. And we are basically taking a regenerative ag approach to those 25 acres. And that test is currently going on right now. It's pretty exciting. I mean, we're planting all these different cover crops. just, to try and, slow down some of the problems in the soil, right? We've got to get the soil built back up in California.
Oh, there's no well. Maybe they'll come up with a great idea. We'll do electric carrots because that seems to be the big buzzword.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
But you're absolutely right. Look, and more and more companies are looking at the regen thing. There's no two ways about it. I mean, they're looking at the pluses, the minuses, the benefits. Regenerative ag reminds me so much of the organic movement early on, back in the days of draft horses and no electricity. And the way people look at it, and can it scale, right? That's what everybody always said about organic. Can it scale? And I think regen has its place. I think it will. I mean, it's going to have its challenges like organic did in that scale. It's not going to be something you're going to flip a switch on like that. It's going to work everywhere. But I think that what I'm excited about is, where does it take us in 5 years? What does it do? How does it help mitigate our water problem? Is there ways that this is going to make a benefit that we don't know and see yet? And as that scales, to the point about innovation, so do these ideas that come from this innovation. So to me, I think it's great you guys are doing it and learning it. Next time you're out, we'll go up and check it out. I'll go look at it with you. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. No, it really is. It's exciting. I mean, to be able to start to pivot towards this direction and do something like this. It's more about looking at the nutrition per acre, right? Like that's kind of the forward-looking view from Bolthouse's perspective is how to bring more nutritional things to the marketplace, and how do we make carrots even more nutritious than they already are? I think that's one key thing to that, is that the regenerative ag thing could potentially allow us to create an even more nutritious carrot, right? And other commodities, not just carrots.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I think that's all. I think those are all possibilities that need the efforts like you and others are making right now to, again, take a look at how do we heal the soil? How do we figure out how we're going to feed 9.8 billion people by 2050? And what are we going to do with only 40 years left, of topsoil based on data? And it's like,
exactly.
So I think it's great. I commend you guys. I'm excited. Well, dude, this has been a blast. I'm glad you came and hung out with me. I'm glad, you're not watching the Cubs lose or rooting for the White Sox or whatever it is. I'd say watching the Bears lose, but that's coming. So don't worry about it. It's just around the corner.
It is always around the corner. That's for sure. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a White Sox fan, so this has been a
good year. It's been a good year for you guys, the White Sox guys.
Not lately, but yeah, no, it's great to be back in Chicago and be able to actually go to those games. So that's one positive, one benefit.
I love it. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate you being here and hanging out with us. I really do.
Absolutely. Appreciate you letting me come on the show, and definitely looking forward to seeing you at out in Bakersfield or IFPA. Hopefully,
I'll see you in Orlando. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was fun. You're welcome back anytime. Let's, when you guys got something to talk about, bring it up. Let's go. Let's talk about this regen thing. I think it's a great conversation. I'd love to see where you are down the road with this and get that conversation started. So open invitation, come back anytime.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, brother. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Much love from everybody here to you. Make it a good day today. Go out and inspire somebody. Give somebody a hug. Send them a text. Tell your mailman you appreciate what they do every day, rain or shine, whatever it is. But make a difference in this world by your words and your actions, because that's what's going to be important. So go inspire somebody today. And I think you'll find your day to be a hell of a lot better. I know it will be, and mine always is. Thanks, host, for being here. We'll see you soon. And check us out on social media. And like us and subscribe and do all that stuff they tell me to say that I never remember, but do it anyways, because you know what I'm talking about. So we'll see y'all soon. Take care.